this is one thing that I learned a long time ago. That which you do professionally is 100% alien from the way you have to be able to do it. Do you
Yeah.
understand? Did I make
I
that
do. I
clear?
think I do, but I think you should probably explain it in more.
Okay, let me expand on that. Let us say, okay, so I'm a relationship strategist.
Right.
Before I go into a company, I have to do my homework to make sure what they said is happening is indeed happening. I will probably make phone calls to various key players in the organization. I will create needs assessments. I will create I use the audience analysis sheet that I developed that is in my new forthcoming book. I hit every single thing about their pain points before I even get to a company and do my performance coaching with anybody. But nobody knows this. People don't see all of the homework you do.
Yeah.
And when I first hit the airwaves, people said, "Who is she? Where did she come from?" Like, boom, I just came out of
So
a
easy. Looks so easy. Yeah. Well,
oh,
you
yeah.
and I were talking before about real estate agents on another episode, and I was thinking about things I used to do as a loan officer, which is really helpful I used to give first time home buyer seminars, but we didn't do it this way. But I'm sure a lot of them are doing it this way to get people interested. And when you were talking,
That's very smart.
yeah, but you know what? I would, of course, do my own as a loan officer because then I had all these leads to give to the real estate agents. So the real estate agents would want to work with me. And then as a real estate agent, I would do it myself and without, and then I would have loan officers help me, and you could work with different groups. So you got to think of who could help you with your webinar that might be, you could give them business. But at the end, when I did the end of the seminar, I handed out a sheet, and you reminded me of it when you said your sheet. I handed out a sheet that they would fill out, so how would you think of this webinar? And then it would say, do you have a real estate agent, or do you have a insurance agent, or and if they did or they didn't, you had information on them. And say they didn't have an insurance agent, all my insurance buddies, you had all these leads to give them. And hey, these people are looking for an insurance agent, they're just buying a new house, you know what I mean? And there was a certain amount of, you had this sales ability of networking. Now, of course, you would always say, can I share your information? You wouldn't just hand people's information to people.
Of course.
But you think about some of these things, the opportunities for sales, for lead generation, for different things that you only thought you could do in person, now you could do through webinar.
There are opportunities all around us if we just open our eyes and look. Even things that don't appear to be opportune for us may be something that somebody else can use. And those are the things that you want to give away to other people. But collecting the data to begin with is so crucial. Anybody who thinks you just go into an organization and you start talking to somebody and that's where it comes from is dead wrong. For a long time, I told people I do. I'm a corporate relationship. Well, I didn't say relationship expert because in corporations they don't know what to do with that. But I started telling people I was a relationship strategist, which also entails all the communications. He's communicating with her, she's communicating with him, and also the personal interactions that are happening at home that are impacting on the organization. So all of those things couldn't be explained. And then, thank you, pop culture. The Showtime show Billions came out on screen. Did you? Are you?
A few seasons. I haven't seen much stuff with it.
Well, there's Dr. Maggie. Dr. Rhodes. That's her name. Dr. That's who Maggie Siff is the actress who plays that. But Dr. Rhodes is, what do you know?
She is.
She does exactly what I did.
Yeah, I never
What
thought
I have
about that.
done in corporate America.
Yeah.
So every time people would say, well, what does a relationship strategist do? I'd say, do you watch the show Billions? Oh, yeah. And I say, Dr. Rhodes? Oh, yeah. I said, well, what she does in corporate America, I do. And it's performance coaching any way you look at it. But mine is situated around the organizational behavior, organization development, all the things that you and I have both taught on the college and graduate level. So all of that together is performance coaching. And then people had an idea thanks to pop culture. So when I am explaining anything, I draw from this area and that arena and this here and that down there, things that you would never imagine to be aligned. And that's how I integrate all of the work that I do.
Your personal life's a little different than hers, as I recall from the show.
Well, I also offer the caveat. I do what she does without the sex and the drama. So everybody laughs. Ha ha ha. Okay, I get it. I understand what you do.
That's a good show, though. But yes,
yeah.
But as you were talking about that, back to what you're saying on the when we were talking about what we include and what people need and all this, a lot of this content of what you're training, if we go back to the webinars, can be repurposed. And I think that you're teaching people these really important key lessons that sometimes, because of the fact that we're working digitally and virtually now, some of it can be reused. For example, when I was in New York and I made the videos with Verizon that we were creating to motivate people to be curious, and they were really great little bits and contents of content that they were just going to share with their employees to share the value of curiosity. They ended up using those for onboarding training. So a lot of what you come up with in this kind of session, if you're doing a webinar or something, have in the back of your mind, how can you repurpose this? Is this something that could share your cultural values and entice people to want to work there later, that you can, here's a snippet of what we do here, kind of thing. I love the idea of repurposing things, because say you have an hour webinar training somebody on something, maybe 2 minutes of that could be something you have on your website saying, we want this, this is what we've seen. And this is just almost like speakers have sizzle reels. Companies can have sizzle reels of different ideas of different things that they do.
Well, there are certain things in common that you and I have discussed.
Right.
Everything that you present has to have an intro, a body, and a conclusion.